3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Joe Bob.
That is actually their name, Joe Bob.
Live and welcome in on today. It is Friday, January 26th, the year of our Lord 2023. So glad to have you. So much to catch up on. There is possibly a new Jussie Smollet that I'm so excited to get to. Also, Hunter Biden's art dealer testified in Congress. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. Joe Biden has another that will do for you after a quick second. And also, I'm trying this new thing called Trigger in the Comments section, which I think is going to be fun and interesting, but we'll kind of do that as we wrap up. Bring in some comments on that aren't from necessarily the live show, but from, the internet as a whole. But I got to get to this first because this is very, very short, and we won't dwell on it too long. It's another one of these. And, I'm just going to play it. Here this is Joe Biden. I think this is in Wisconsin yesterday. We had one earlier, and we had one earlier this week, and thankfully I was able to just use the same thingy here. I didn't have to make a new chyron for that. But here it is, Joe Biden. The
beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder what it's called.
What? What were those words that he said? Like, what? and look, I'm not trying to feign insane responses to this sort of thing, but also, what? What in God's name was that? And with all due respect to the President of the United States, but I'm going to play it for you again. And again, the thing that we talked about yesterday when we had a similar clip about the same sort of thing was listen to the laughter of the people in the room. Are they piping in laughter? I wonder. Remember when shut down, the government, due to quote-unquote COVID, shut down all the sports leagues, and some of them piped in audience noises, like the fans cheering when there was a hit into left field or whatever it was. Is the administration doing that on things that they know are applause lines, or are people cheering and laughing for words that they don't know? Listen to you know what? Maybe that's the new conspiracy theory. Are they piping in laughter to the feed that goes to the media? Because if I were hearing this, okay, well, let me put it this way. If my favorite comedian did this unironically, I would not laugh. I would be like, what? I'm confused. What did he just say? If I did that on stage, nobody would laugh. So maybe here's the conspiracy. Is the Biden campaign piping in laughter and cheers to help bolster his image of, look, the people love him? Listen to this again. There's no way that anybody is genuinely laughing at this.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder what it's called.
Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. The beer brewed here is whole worth. I wonder if I think they might be piping that sound in. I hadn't thought about that until just now, so I don't have anything material-wise worked up about that, but I would do it. I wouldn't blame them for doing it if I were in the Biden campaign and recognized the, we'll just say, dullness of the crowds that come to Biden events and Biden speeches. I would imagine it would help, especially from a media perspective, if you piped in laughter, kind of like they do in a sitcom. It's the same thing. I'm going to go watch back a bunch of those and see if that's, because that's also loud laughter. When you watch a stand-up comedy special, they have mics set up in the audience to capture the laughter, and that's what that sounded like. But the administration or the campaign or the Biden team isn't setting up mics in the audience to capture the laughter. I guarantee you they're not doing that. What is that? I think this is a new conspiracy theory that I'd like to delve into more, possibly. But enough of that, because it's always enough of that. I want to get to this, because I think this is fascinating. Is this the new Jussie Smollet, or Jussie Smollet, as the news media would call him? This guy is named Emmanuel, oh shoot, what's his last name? Oh, darn it, now I'm unprepared. Let me look it up. New Jussie, here we go. Emmanuel Felton. So this dude's name is Emmanuel Felton. Apparently he is a writer for the Washington Post, and yesterday he tweeted about a story that happened to him that is just unbelievable. And I don't mean that as like, how could this possibly happen? I mean, literally, it is unbelievable. And I'd like to take you through that story to see if we can't, for ourselves, figure out not only what is going on here necessarily, but also if we believe it. Here's this. Here's the tweet that he put up, and I gotta pull this up on my phone because I stupidly did not realize how small the words are on the screen. But here's the tweet. Here's the tweet from the new Jussie Smollet. Emmanuel Felton tweets, "So the white woman at the front desk at the Four Seasons Nashville concluded I was homeless after I asked for change to tip the valet and housekeeping, and she sent security after me to my room. And yet I get emails every day telling me that racism isn't an issue in America, ... I'm curious here, just at the onset, what percentage of people believe this particular story? And we'll get to some of the other nuances here, but at the onset, before we know anything about this particular individual, it seems fishy. Especially the line at the end saying, I get emails every day telling me, who are those emails coming from? Are those your friends? Are you subscribed to some email lists that I'm not getting? Because I don't get emails every single day talking about how America is not racist. I get the opposite constantly from people like him. So, on the face, it seems, let's just say, not the most believable thing. But then, you go to this guy's profile on Twitter. And the Twitter profile says this, that Emmanuel Felton is the race and ethnicity reporter at the Washington Post, writing The Search for Black Mecca for Harper Books and teaching journalism at Yale and Hunter College. You think this guy is just a never anything but the facts journalist? Or you think he might be part of that Yale culture of journalism, of activism journalists that think that it's okay, ethically, to just make S up for the sake of promoting their cause? Now, if we get back to the actual tweet itself that Emmanuel tweeted and apparently expected everyone to believe, the white woman at the front desk of the Four Seasons Nashville. Let's stop there. You're at the Four Seasons in Nashville. Okay, congratulations. That is not a place that I can afford. Maybe if I were the race and ethnicity reporter at the Washington Post, or was able to teach at Yale or whatever other school that he teaches at, Hunter College, maybe I would be able to afford such a luxury that has been afforded to someone who writes often and claims to be just so held down by the system. I think I can count on one hand, how many of my friends who happen to be of the oppressor race that can afford to stay at the Four Seasons. So that in and of itself is interesting and funny. Regardless of the whole story, isn't the whole thing of we are oppressed, us minorities are oppressed. But I stay at the Four Seasons. Okay, maybe that's just bad financial. Maybe he can't afford it, and it's bad financial planning on his part, or went there looking for this sort of thing. She concluded that I was homeless after I asked for change to tip the valet and housekeeping. Okay, first of all, no. Let's just pretend this isn't entirely made up. And I would imagine that it is. But even if it weren't entirely made up and there was some sort of interaction with him and somebody else at the hotel, what do you think has to transpire in order for a person working at one of the nicest hotel chains on planet Earth to conclude or assume that a person is homeless? The question I have is, have you met homeless people? It is not difficult to tell whether or not they are homeless. Now, okay, again, we're assuming that any of this is true, but how did you ask for change? Did you go up to the front desk looking for someone to possibly maybe be racist and say, I need some change for the tipping of the housekeeping and the valet? Did you sound like that? Did you look dirty? I don't know. Maybe that's how this guy travels. I have no idea. But I would imagine no. If you went up to the front desk lady and said, hey, I need some change to tip the valet and the housekeeping, it does not matter your race. It does not matter your gender, your ethnicity. Honest to God, probably even what you look like. If you sound like a coherent individual, which I would imagine he sounds like, given the fact that he's a reporter at the Washington Post and teaches at freaking Yale, he probably doesn't sound like a meth head who's homeless on the streets. Which again, all of us who have had interactions with these people know what they sound like. But then to assume that that's what she thought, I don't believe the security part at all, so we won't even indulge the fact that, oh, the security. Okay, you're telling me right now that the only thing out there is a tweet, and maybe something comes up afterward in terms of evidence of this happening. But you're telling me a Washington Post reporter doesn't think in his head as this is happening, which, by the way, I don't believe that any of this is happening, but if it did, so you're saying that the hotel front desk lady knew that you had a room there and then sent security to your room thinking that you didn't have that room? Get out of there with that crap. But so all that being said, you're a Washington Post race and ethnicity reporter who loves to talk about how oppressed you are. And all of a sudden, it's finally happening to you. Finally, someone is being racist towards you, and this is going to catapult you to the pedestal of I am oppressed. And you don't think to pull out your phone and record it? Isn't that like being oppressed 101? Like, Pixar, it didn't happen? Like, you would think of all the people that would be prepared for a situation like this to happen to them would pull out their phone and record some of it happening. Because, I don't know if you know this about the internet or even Jussie Smollet, but nobody believed what he said. And had he had, just did this, had his phone out. If that's all that Jussie Smollet did, and we all got to see the MAGA hat wearing 2 a.m. Chicago suburbs, not Chicago suburbs, downtown Chicago racist people looking for empire actors. Had he just had it on his phone, we all would have been like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That should not be permitted in our society. How dare those people? But that didn't happen. And so, as I'm thinking about this, I'm wondering, do you make fun of this person or do you just completely ignore it? Because the attention is what he's looking for. He's probably going to gain, I should have screenshot, actually, I might have. Hold on, I did. I screenshotted how many followers he had. Let me go see how many followers he has now. Because again, this is all like attention-seeking nonsense. Let's see. Here we go. Wow, actually stayed exactly the same. But that's also because I screenshotted it this morning. The comment section in here is unbelievable. Oh, wow. The viewership on this tweet, not that we need to dig into this too much. The viewership on this tweet has tripled since I saw it late last night or earlier this morning. The comment section is, in fact, hilarious. I will read you some of the comments now, but let me get this thing back on the screen. The new Jussie. Let's see. Weird, says Chris. Weird that this would happen to a, checks notes, race and ethnicity reporter. Odd. Somebody named Dust in the Wind says, anyone notice that the people in the media like this seem to have an inordinately high amount of incidents like this? Always lines up with the narrative and spends most of the time trying to sell. You and Jussie compare notes or something? Again, like I said, nobody believed this. Somebody else commented, and this is like the top comments on this guy's tweet. She worked at the Four Seasons, thought you were homeless and sent security to your room? So you have her name, and this is on camera, right? Yeah, this didn't happen, says that particular tweeter. So I guess the funny, and also maybe hopeful and optimistic part of this is that everyone believes that this did not happen at all. But somebody did. This person commented very early. She said, I'm so sorry you went through this, Emmanuel. I wish I could say I'm surprised. The fact is, we're so used to it, it's even more infuriating. Which seems like a genuine comment, but at the same time, I probably would have commented something like that. Something so dryly sarcastic of, I can't believe that this would happen to you. This is just too ever present in the society and culture that we exist in, and I will not stand for it. Oh, man. What are you going to do? Bunch of dummy dum-dums. Let's see. Oh, no. Did I not plug this thing in? Oh, here we go. I'll fix it right now. So that's that. We'll see if this blows up into a big national story because, well, you know, maybe we'll do this. Maybe I'll text over to my Turning Point friends and see if they can make a sketch of how this would have happened if it did actually happen. I think that would be funny. That's a great idea. Huh. Anyways, moving on to this, because I think this is a fascinating and interesting story that didn't get, like, any coverage at all, which shouldn't be surprising to people, but didn't really get any coverage at all, is Hunter Biden's paintings. Now, we've talked about Hunter Biden, we've talked about his paintings, we've talked about his drug use, we talked about his involvement with his dad in foreign business deals and the bagajillions of dollars that he made to effectively do nothing. But this was actually kind of a new wrinkle to the story. Hunter Biden's art dealer testified in front of Congress. And by in front of Congress, I mean behind closed doors, because that's how this works. I don't know if you know this, and I just kind of learned this recently in trying to sort out what's real and what's not. In pretty much all of the congressional subpoenas and hearings, you testify behind closed doors, and then if they want a public hearing, then you testify in the public hearing. And to my understanding, and from the mouths of people that I trust, that is how they all work. That will become relevant in a little bit. But anyways, this guy was testifying behind closed doors for, the questions being asked of him were how legit was the fact that Hunter Biden sold 10 paintings and made $1.5 million for said paintings. Well, a couple things emerged from this. The dealer was asked by a couple congresspeople, hey, we've been told constantly that there is a brick wall between Hunter Biden and the people who buy his art. The White House says that there is no way that Hunter Biden could have benefited, politically speaking, or any of the buyers. There's no way that any of the buyers could have benefited, politically speaking, because there was a brick wall between Hunter Biden and the people who purchased his art. He didn't know who they were. They didn't know who he was. They just saw this beautiful piece of artwork and decided to spend exorbitant amounts of money on it for no other reason but because they would like their home to feel a little more peaceful because of the artistic genius of one Hunter Biden. Well, the art dealer was asked about that, and he was like, what are you talking about? He knew exactly who bought his paintings. And the people questioning the art dealer were like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, that's he knew who it was, and not only did he know, he asked. Hunter Biden did. Hey, who bought my paintings? Which is out of the ordinary and not in step with what the White House had said about this not all that long ago. But even more interesting than that, then the art dealer was asked, well, okay, what is the normal situation? And the art dealer said, well, the normal situation is the artist has no idea who bought the paintings, mostly because the purchasers don't want to be known. Okay, so wait. So not only did the White House lie about the just brick wall, hashtag walls don't work, the brick wall between Hunter Biden and his buyers, not only was that not true, Hunter did know, he asked to know, and the actual norm of art gallery purchasers, according to this art dealer of Hunter Biden's, is, well, the artist generally doesn't know, but in this particular situation, he wanted to know and asked to know. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So what they claimed happened was the actual opposite of what happened. When asked if the artist ever talked to Hunter about it, he said, no, not really, that was just what he wanted, so that's what I did. The reports in the news media way back when this was a thing, that said the White House said that they were working with the art dealer to make sure, again, of this impenetrable wall between Hunter and the buyers of his art. And the art dealer was asked, hey, what did you think about that when you saw that in the news? And the art dealer was like, yeah, that wasn't true. Just flat out says, hey, what are you talking about? Which is almost comical, but at the same time, it's just so depressing. The art dealer was asked, what was your experience like working with the White House? He said, I never worked with the White House. Oh, that's so weird that the White House would say that. And the news media would echo it. And turns out it wasn't happening at all. What's actually interesting is this guy named Kevin Morris, who I believe is the guy who gave Hunter Biden just gifted him $2 million. Big Democrat donor out of Los Angeles, I think, if I'm thinking about the right guy. Just gifted him $2 million to cover all of his back taxes. So good friend of Hunter Biden. A guy named Kevin Morris and Elizabeth Naftali combined for 64% of all of Hunter Biden's art purchasers, according to this report being put out. $1.5 million, and these two individuals, one who happens to be a big Democrat donor who wiped out Hunter Biden's taxes, is one buyer, and the other buyer is also a big Democrat donor and fundraiser. They make up 64% of the Hunter Biden art purchases. Now, what's kind of interesting about that, in July of 2022, 8 months after Hunter Biden's first art gallery opening, Joe Biden announced that Elizabeth Naftali would be appointed to the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. I don't know how much of a high-power position that is, but it is interesting. And there's a lot of people making a high-level appointment by the Biden administration, by this person who bought Hunter Biden's art. That doesn't sound like a very high-level appointment, but it is an appointment nonetheless. And I wonder if there's a salary involved there, and I wonder if there's any decision-making power that comes with the Commission of Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. But all that's to say is the art dealer of Hunter Biden testified in front of Congress. The bottom line here is testified in front of Congress, and all of the things that we were told, the ironclad wall of impenetrability between Hunter Biden and the dealers or the buyers of his art, totally not true. Just none of that was true. And I don't think this really got any media attention whatsoever, which I think is, well, it's not great. Not something you want. Anyways. Speaking of Hunter Biden, I want to move on to this, and I don't know if this will work. This is like kind of a... I'm trying to like add fun segments that we do routinely. And here's one of those. Triggered in the comments. Now, it's more difficult with this new system to bring comments up on the screen, even though I do sometimes read them as we are going, doing the whole live thing. But I don't know, how many of you get into arguments in the comment sections of things? I think I used to, and then I didn't for a long time. And then I realized, well, what if that's useful? What if it's useful to the entertainment value of what I'm doing currently as an occupation, to just throw stuff into comment sections of places that I know is going to get a ton of quote-unquote hate or triggered people in there, and just see what happens. And so I decided to do that. I decided that I think it would be funny to throw things in the comment section of, well, various news pieces and Instagram posts and see what we come up with. Yesterday, I decided to comment on this. This is Peter Navarro. He was sentenced to 4 months of being in contempt of Congress after he defied a subpoena. Now, we've made some correlations between Hunter Biden, or we've made some, we've pointed out some similarities between Hunter Biden and Peter Navarro, and the dissimilarities in how they are treated. Peter Navarro defied a congressional subpoena. Now, just for the record, I think if you're subpoenaed by Congress, you should probably go. I am not pro-defying subpoenas. Just so we're clear on that. I'm not saying what Peter Navarro did is a good thing. But Peter Navarro did not comply with a congressional subpoena, and now he has to serve 4 months after being escorted off of an airplane in Washington, D.C. by FBI agents for, again, defying a subpoena. Now, the only question that I asked in said comment section is, what about Hunter? Because Hunter did the exact same thing. I think I said, great, now Hunter. And here are some of those comments. And again, I'm still trying to figure out if this is interesting at all. But here are some of the comments that I got back from real people who really thought, well, just real people and what they think. Debadoboya, I'm not even going to try and read their names, said, good try, but not quite the same thing. He offered to appear. They declined. Factually inaccurate. Just factually inaccurate. Hunter Biden was subpoenaed by Congress, and like we talked about earlier in the Hunter Biden story, the norm, at least as I understand it, and a lot of smart people say that it is that, well, you testify behind closed doors, and then they do a public hearing if they want to. Because they don't have to, because, well, like Hunter Biden's art dealer did not do a public hearing, at least so that I can see, and instead just did a closed door hearing. And then the comments say, just factual inaccuracies are interesting here, and I think they're kind of amusing. Not the same thing. Hunter offered to appear. Okay, well, December 13th, the NBC reported that Hunter defied a subpoena, which I don't know if you can do those two things simultaneously. I don't know that you can offer to present yourself and also defy the subpoena. But I don't know. According to this commenter, you can. Another comment coming in says, Hunter was given the choice to testify in public or private. He showed up for the public one, and they offered to testify right then. First of all, no, that's not how that worked. I don't think he was ever given an option. It was just said, hey, this is a subpoena. You need to come and testify. Now, just an update on the story. Hunter, I think, has agreed to a deposition now, which is its own weird thing. But to say Hunter Biden was given the choice to testify, and they decided not to. Oh, this is my favorite line. He showed up in public and offered to testify right then. That's not how that works. Look, I don't care if you're Hunter Biden, if you're Donald Trump, if you're literally anybody on the spectrum of people. You don't just get to show up to a committee hearing and say, I am here to testify. He did that twice. Remember, he stood outside of the Capitol steps and said, I'm here. Question me if you will. No, dude, there's this thing called a schedule, and you're not on it today, so what are you doing? And then that other time where he sat in the congressional room and they were like, oh shoot, he's here. Let's throw some questions at him. And then he left. The factual inaccuracies, I think, are the most interesting about this. This commenter said, no, I don't know what I said back to them. I don't spend a lot of time responding to the nuke dropped in the comment section. I mostly just it's one word or two word answers, and then a lot of crying, laughing faces. But I don't know what I said to this lady, but she then said, you need to get off your lazy ass Google interaction and Trump, and you'll see right there. If you don't see, you're a blind ass bad. I think that's all we need to, we don't really need to break this comment down because the incoherence and misspelling probably does enough for it. Oh shoot, that's the comment that we already got. We started off with. Another factual inaccuracy. Let him have a public hearing. Oh, that's fine. You can advocate for that. I don't know why they don't have a public hearing either. Just there's some agreement there. He asked for it. Are you even paying attention? Yeah. Well, okay. The part where I would disagree and depart from your thinking there is, if you ask for something, doesn't mean it's automatically given to you. You have to comply with subpoenas, as a Trump person is in jail now for 4 months for not doing the exact same thing that Hunter Biden is doing. And this, again, the factual inaccuracies are astonishing. This dude says, or chick, I don't know. Somebody said, Hunter didn't refuse the subpoena. He showed up for a public hearing and Republicans have refused. That's just factually inaccurate. Is it worth going into? No. NBC reported that Hunter Biden refused the subpoena. And like we said earlier, you don't just get to show up and say, I am here to testify. And if that were the case, I'm going to go testify like every day. If Congress in their committees have to go, oh shoot, well, Joe Bob showed up and he wants to testify. I guess we got to table everything that we were going to do and let him testify. All right, what would you like to testify on, sir? And I'll say, the removal of birthright citizenship, which is an actual thing that I think should happen, but we won't get into that right now. They're not going to say, oh, well, the floor is yours. Let's all ask him questions. No. You don't just get to show up, and then when they say, you're not on the schedule, you don't get to say, oh, why did they refuse me testifying? Continuing on, let's see what this one was. Hunter was never a part of the administration. See the difference there? Oh. Wait, so if you defy a subpoena, but you're a part of the administration, that's different? Not entirely sure how, but okay. He owes them nothing, except for an explanation as to why he defied the subpoena, and which is why I think they agreed to the deposition that they're going to do. The DOJ is handling that, not the corrupt DOJ, or sorry, not the corrupt GOP. I actually am curious. Those of you who are watching this, let me know if this is at all interesting or entertaining, because I think pointing stuff out is fantastically interesting. The DOJ, okay, are you talking about the same DOJ that, if not for the one judge that caught, hey, this plea deal is insane, would have gotten Hunter off on everything? Is that the same DOJ that you're like, they're handling it, not the corrupt GOP? Well, I think you got those reversed. the corrupt DOJ got caught trying to issue Hunter a sweetheart deal which would have absolved him of all of his sins and just let him go off scot-free. We won't do too many more of these because, I thought this one was good. Imagine how dangerous you could be, he's talking to me, if you kept up with actual facts. Kind of like the factual inaccuracies in the comment section, but okay. Right now, you're as dull as a 10,000-year-old river rock. You know, where I depart with this is that if anyone or anything has concrete wisdom, it's probably a 10,000-year-old river rock. That rock has seen the rise and fall of civilizations. It has seen humanity at its best and at its worst. If there is any wisdom to be taken from anything, it might be a 10,000-year-old river rock. So, sir or ma'am or theys, I actually don't mind that comment at all. And finally, I guess, we'll get to this. Sometimes in these comment sections where I decide to mess around, we get a friend. Someone says, "Are you expecting to get a normal response from these brain rest?" I can't read this morning. Are you expecting to get a normal response from these brainwashed radical leftists? No, I'm not. Honestly, I think it's just fun to continue with the hilarity on poking holes in a lot of the arguments that they have. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, well, that'll do it for us today. Hey, I appreciate you sticking around and tuning in. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. Just type in JOBOB. And let me know in the comment section, is that, I don't know, is that whole comment section thing interesting, entertaining at all? Because I'll keep dropping bombs in comment sections and bringing the ridiculous responses to y'all if y'all want that sort of thing. Yeah, let me know. I'd be curious. But appreciate you sticking around. Have a great weekend. Try to unplug from politics as much as you can. I don't know. There are more things and more important than Hunter Biden's art dealer. But I am appreciative of you sticking around, tuning in. I will be in, where is this? Corona, California, March 16th. That is a Saturday at the Corona Historic Theater. That is a comedy show with myself and the Elephant Party Improv Group. If you live in, Southern California, would appreciate, consider coming out and having a great time. Those are all the comedy show announcements. We are not, I don't think, live with the Turning Point USA Live Free Tour, which I will be on with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, starting in March, I believe. But when we get those dates to the public, I will get them to you in case you live in any of the areas that we will be going to. But appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. Have a great weekend. God bless America.